This might be the most important decision I made so far in my journey as an artist and creator. It could be the best idea ever, but it could also reveal to be a big mistake. I'm moving my studio, and let me be clear, I do take the liberty to refer to my workspace as a studio, but you shouldn't really compare it to a professional music studio too closely. For one, the two have very different applications. And I also think that many aspects that make a professional studio professional will really only become important when considering efficiency. For example, I think we can all agree that some great mixes exist that have been mixed and mastered in a random bedroom, maybe on headphones. So a well-treated room isn't really a requirement for that. For me, it's just a way to be more efficient and consistent when working. Why am I moving out? The first reason. I want to move out of my parents' house and move closer to the school where I teach music among other subjects. And also I want to move closer to the city. Most things I enjoy doing are in the city, and also most gigs my band plays are there too. Second reason. When moving out, I doubt I will find an apartment where I can continue working on videos and music in the same way as I was able to do in my parents' semi-detached house. So how's that going to work? Will I need to come back every time I want to work on something? Yeah, so to me it seems obvious that I need a new place to work on music before I even look for an apartment. Honestly, I want my apartment to be secondary to my music studio. Any money I can, I would rather put into the studio than paying a higher rent for a better apartment. Because in the apartment I'll mostly be sleeping, and whenever I can, I'll probably go back to the studio to do whatever. Work on music, work on videos, hang out with friends, rehearse. And since renting living space is kind of pricey, I do believe that it will be cheaper to have two different locations rather than hoping to find a rare and payable house or flat where I could also work on music. There are more reasons why I wanted a dedicated studio space though. My band, we could really use our own practice space. So far we mostly managed well by rehearsing in semi-public rehearsal band rooms that we had access through to like universities or something. But having our own room would definitely bring some luxuries that we would really appreciate. Also, I noticed that I don't use my time as well as I could, especially when it comes to things like recording vocals or even speaking in front of a camera. To me, there always is a hurdle I have to cross to do those. Alright, this is the room. We already did more than I expected, and let's have a look. I should have shown the reel before, but this is already like the midpoint of what I'm going to do for the time being. This spot is going to be my workstation. It's also a band rehearsal room, of course. The acoustics are not too bad. I recorded vocals in here once already, and it sounded fine. It sounded comparable to how it sounds in my own room or in my old studio. Tomorrow we continue, we move the table, we move my keys. One of my keys is already there. Yeah, I'm not really hyped about moving all of these things. What am I going to do if I want to make music in my own house? That's not good, but that's one of the flaws of this room. I think I can go home. My plan was to record vocals before we started doing things here, but that's one of the reasons I am moving. I was procrastinating too much. I was not working efficiently, I was not focused, and I'm hoping that with this new space I can be focused. I can come here and I can work. And I can record vocals or videos, speaking in videos like this one, without being self-conscious about neighbors hearing it, or without being aware that I might be. Even though my neighbors aren't constantly reaching out with complaints, I still always have them in the back of my head when I want to sing loudly. I also feel more comfortable recording a YouTube video when the house is empty, which it usually isn't. So having a place where I can be as loud as I want seems like it would really ease some of those inhibitions. Also, I believe it could boost my productivity and focus to have a clear division between where I work and live. For example, getting up early in the morning and leaving the house to come to the studio seems a lot easier to me than to decide, now breakfast and watching series is over and I have to get working, or should I maybe watch a bit longer? I don't really like those smooth transitions. That could just be me though. Now it's really starting to look quite sad. Honestly, I didn't have many requirements for my music room, but these ones should be mostly fulfilled. I need to be able to play the drums here. Personally, I don't play the drums, my drummer in the band plays the drums, but I also would like to record drums in my studio, maybe from time to time, and I just think that's kind of a good guideline of how loud I can be in the room without bothering anyone. But it doesn't have to be all the time. For example, if I had a studio space close to some offices, I would be happy to restrict drumming to outside of working hours so I wouldn't bother anyone. Also, there needs to be enough space for 4 musicians, a table and a drum set, even if it's tight. Slowly but surely, it's taking shape. This is a very familiar setup, right? Like I had in my old studio. We're also able to rehearse here. I'm able to sing loudly. There's some worries with noise. The other direction. I'm bothered a bit by noise here. The fridge is too loud at the moment. There's a train going a couple of times an hour, which I don't know if I'm going to get used to. There it is. The window's open, so it's not that loud usually. My original strategy was writing emails blindly to random companies, mostly industrial, that were in somewhat decent locations. I'm still sure that there are dozens of unused or lightly used backrooms and storage rooms that would work perfectly to mix some beats or host a band practice. This strategy sadly was very ineffective. It took quite some time to find candidates and send emails explaining what I was trying to achieve, but I received barely any replies and 0 offers. So we have this entrance. This fridge is bothering me. It's very loud. I take the liberty to unplug it for like recording something important. And also I think I'm going to replace it with a quiet one. Things to get rid of. This is kind of my mess that I've started here. This seating area. I've honestly never felt inspired to sit here. I don't know. Maybe I have to do some things with it, but actually I would like to move as much of the seating as possible into the big, beautiful room. I think this room is kind of nice. But it's also messy, of course. This shelf, very messy. This is all stuff that I've kind of tried to organize a bit already. I had a lot less faith in this second strategy. I simply made a post in a forum about band rooms and explained what kind of room I was looking for. But I ended up receiving 2 offers pretty quickly. Now it was time to decide between the 2. This process actually brought to light some more important criteria. One room was kind of in a better location, but it had 2 fatal flaws. Since it was in a 3rd basement, there wasn't really any way to get internet connection in there. Even if it would just be a faint phone signal, that would be mostly enough to activate a plugin once in a while or download a quick update. I'm happy to do most online stuff outside of the studio, but no internet at all, that seems to be a killer. Also, there was no bathroom access. For weekly band practice, that could definitely still work, but if I'm in there multiple days a week for a whole work day, that seems like another killer. So I decided to move into this room right here. This room isn't perfect either, sadly, but I think it's a start. And I think I can make it work for the time being. First, some positive things about it. It's actually quite big. Also, there's a lot of equipment in here already, and we can mostly use all of it. The room treatment isn't perfect, but it's a lot further along than if I would have moved into a completely empty room. It's pretty affordable, especially because some other people still pay a part of the rent. There are some issues though. Since I'm basically moving into a long-established band room and some of the former owners still want to keep using it occasionally, there's quite a lot of things, useful and not, that have accumulated in here. And I'll have to really do some work to get everything organized and to find a way where the space will work for everyone involved. Also, visually, there are things to be done. These two shelves were something I had early plans. I wanted them both at the same wall beforehand. The shelf came up to here, and it took a whole lot of space out of this beautiful big room. But at the moment, the plan was, let's maybe just use the little shelf at this wall. But then the idea came that we can maybe stash some things here. And now we've also started stashing things in front. And the amps are supposed to be here. They're also nice, right? But I think I have to really work to get all of these things. So this stuff has got to go there. No matter how. I don't care about this space. I care about this space. I've mentioned acoustic treatment. There's not really any professional treatment in here, but because there's a carpet and there's carpets on the walls and there's shelving to break up the flat walls. This all does some things. Let's do some clapping. I have a better mic on the camera now. I can hear some sound bouncing off the ceiling. I definitely want to put some stuff on the ceiling. This is just clean and flat now, concrete. But for example, in my kind of sitting position, right here, where I'm sitting right now, if I look in this direction, the audio is not too bad. I think it's all going on there. There's also carpet here, that's nice. And yeah, I doubt, and the former band room owners also agree, this probably does nothing. These are like egg cartons. They used to be, as far as I know, all across the ceiling. They're on this wall, they're on this wall, they're on this wall. I started taking it down a bit. Sadly, it's kind of tearing up the paint. You can see right there. So maybe I have to work on my technique. Also, I'm not too in a hurry actually to take it down. But anyways, the former owners, they already took a lot of it down and they had it stashed in shelving like this. So I feel this is a big and necessary step. I've already done some of the basic things, moved some of the basic things in here, and now I can work here already. I can record videos, I can record vocals, I can have band practice, but I'm still a bit uncertain if it's the best idea to move in here in the way I did. My studio at home is dissolved, and I can pretty much only work on music and videos here now. And it's not that close to where I live at the moment, because the plan is that I move close to where the studio is. So for the time being, it's kind of inconvenient. Also, I have to move some things back and forth. And it even happened last Wednesday that I didn't even bring my camera. I forgot it at home. Maybe I could have done something else then. So it's going to take some time to judge if it's worth it, at least for the time being. In the long run, I think I have to do something like this. But should I maybe only record vocals in here, because that's what I don't feel comfortable in my house? And should I keep working on videos back there? Who knows? That's the thing I find quite difficult to judge at the moment. And also the question, am I actually going to be more productive in here? Or am I just going to be distracted in here as well? And the location was never really a relevant factor. Does this do anything for your room acoustics? I think it might. I haven't tested it, but what I started doing is they had these are also egg cartons here. They distributed them nicely, and that might work. But I think the more compact, probably the better anyways, and also if it's in every little nook of these shelves. First of all, it looks terrible, and second of all, it just uses up valuable space. So I compacted them very nicely into these shelving over there. If it's out of the way like this, it doesn't use up too much space. If it's behind the speaker, I don't care about it too much. And I can still use all of this valuable shelving space, right? The window is good on one hand because it gives you some daylight, some fresh air. It's also not that great because it means right outside there is where the train goes through. And with an open window, you definitely hear it a lot. With a closed window, you still hear it, but if you close mic your voice, it doesn't really show up on the recording, luckily. Also, when I came in here, there's another window there. Both windows were covered with this foam. I'm no expert, but I also hear many people saying that this foam does nothing. Basically like the egg cartons. I don't really care about the foam either. I took the foam off of this window mostly for vibes, for some daylight, for me to see what time of day it is. But it could be that the train has gotten slightly louder. I doubt it, but it could be. But what I'm going to do, one of my main plans, I want big heavy curtains going all the way, this whole wall. From all the way over there to all the way over there. First of all, for some internal audio treatment, but potentially it could also block out the outside noise a bit more, who knows. Also, you can close it in front of the window, reduce some of the reflections there, depending on what you need from this room, right? Yeah, it's going to be a multi-function room. That's why I'm saying you can't really compare it to a professional studio. Like, this is not the place to master an album a day or mix 50 songs a week or something. This is the place to work on videos, band practice, record my own stuff, record with friends. I will do some mixing, but I do like mixing on headphones. I think that's it for now. See you again soon. Bye.